morning, my dear students. So hope you all are doing great. Very good day to all of you. So let's begin today's class. Today I'm going to take a new lesson, chapter 4, Through the Alimentary Canal. So before going to this lesson, we all know that organisms need food to live, right? Yes. But do you think, children, the way they take the food is same in every organism? No, right? Yes, it is different. It varies from organism to organisms. So, here in this lesson, we are going to learn about the nutrition and the different modes of the organisms they take in food. Then also we are going to learn about the importance of digestive system and its functioning in human beings, and how the mechanism to eliminate the waste from our body, and also some good hygiene practices. So these all are the topics we are going to discuss in this lesson. So today I am going to deal with the different modes of organisms they take in food, and also what is nutrition in plants, how it takes place. So if you take an example of caterpillar, which is a young one of a butterfly, you know how does it eat the food? It nibbles, that is, it takes small bites and eat the leaves. If you take the lion, it will first kill the animal, tear the flesh of the animal and then eats. If you take butterfly, you can see that it sucks the nectar of the flower. Nectar means honey of the flower. Now if you take the cow, it chews the grass, right? If you take human beings, we will take the food through our mouth, we will bite it with our teeth and then chew it and then swallow it. So you can see that there are different modes of taking in food. If you take the example of lizard, you know how does a lizard catches its prey? Yes, it extends its tongue and catches the insect and eats the food. So these are the various modes of eating by the organisms. So next we are going to discuss about the nutrition in plants. What is called nutrition, children? It is the process of intake of food and its utilization by the organism. How we are taking in food and also how the food is utilized in our body. So that is called utilization. The process of intake of food and its utilization in an organism. Now let's look the nutrition in plants. We all know that plants can prepare their own food through a process called photosynthesis. So what are the requirements for photosynthesis? Yes, we require water, minerals, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll and sunlight. These are the main things we require for photosynthesis. And what is the product we get? Yes, we get carbohydrates like glucose, yes, and along with that we get oxygen also. So through the process of photosynthesis, plants can synthesize their own food. So the organisms are divided into two groups. The organism which can prepare their own food is called autotrophs, and organisms which depend upon other animals or other organisms or plants is called heterotrophs. So autotrophs and heterotrophs. Now examples for autotrophs are green plants, and heterotrophs are human beings, animals. This all comes under heterotrophs because we directly and indirectly depend upon the plants and animals for food. Now coming upon the heterotrophs, it is classified into three types: total parasites, partial parasites and saprophytes. Now what is this parasites? Children, parasites are organisms which obtain their food or which get the factors that are needed to obtain a food through the plants or through the organisms in which they live on. Either they live inside the body of an organism or they will live outside the body. So from them they will take all the food. So this is called parasites. They obtain the food from other organisms. For example, if you take tapeworm and hookworm, they live inside the body of the organisms. If you take lice and flea, it is external parasites, that is louse is the parasite which lives on the head of the human host. So there are external parasites as well as internal parasites. Now coming to the total parasites, these are plants which totally depend upon the host plant. Host plant means the plant in which they live. For example, Cuscuta, Loranthus, they all observe the food, water, minerals of the plants in which they live. The other plant will prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis, but they won't get the food. The Cuscuta and Loranthus will eat their food. So it is harming the host plant. So they won't do anything, they will just take the food of what they prepared. What the other plants prepared, they will just take the food. That is called total parasites. Now partial parasites means which doesn't completely depend upon the host plant. For example, sandalwood tree. During the first stages of their growth, they take the food and water from the other plants. From the roots of the other plants, they take the food and water. And after, when they grow into an adult one, they will synthesize their own food. But during the initial stages, they depend upon the host plants. They take the food and water from the host plant. So that is called partial, which is not completely depending upon the host plant. Next one is saprophytes, which depend upon the dead organic matters. That is the plants and the animals, remains of the dead organic remains of plants and animals. For example, Monotropa. It is a saprophyte. It has no chlorophyll, so it cannot prepare their own food. So it depends upon the dead remains. So these are the classifications of heterotrophs: total parasites, partial parasites and saprophytes. Like that, in animals also, as I told you before, there are external parasites and internal parasites. External parasites are loss and flea, which lives outside the body of the human being or the animals. And tapeworm and hookworm and all will live inside the body of the humans and animals. So that is why every year the school is providing a tablet to kill this hookworm and tapeworm. Because when it happens to be in our stomach, what happens means whatever food we eat, it is taken by this tapeworm or hookworm, and we will not get sufficient nutrient and we will not get sufficient amount of food. As a result, we will become very weak because whatever food we are eating, that they are taking. So for that, the government has every year has given to the schools for the children to take the tablet of this to eliminate it. For 6 months is the course of this. Now there are other types of plants like insectivorous plants, sundew plant, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant. These are called insectivorous plants. From the name only we can understand that they are used to catch insects. But they have chlorophyll also, and they can synthesize their own food through the process of photosynthesis. Then why do they catch the insects? There arises a question. Children, this sundew plant, Venus flytrap and insectivorous plants, they grow in high acidic soil. Okay? And we know that plants requires carbon, hydrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen for their growth. So the plants have the ability to absorb this carbon, hydrogen, phosphorus and all. But the plants do not have the ability to directly absorb the nitrogen from the air. So there are some bacteria called nitrogen fixing bacteria like Rhizobium and Acetobacter, which helps to absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into nitrates, and then it gets dissolved in the soil, and as a result plants will can absorb that nitrogen, and as a result the nitrogen enters into the plant. The plants get the sufficient amount. But I told you that this insectivorous plants, they grow in high acidic soil. So as a result of this, this bacteria will not live, they cannot live in the high acidic soil. So now what they will do for that? They can absorb carbon, they can absorb hydrogen, they can absorb phosphorus, but where do they get this nitrogen? Yes, it is from the insects they catch. They get the nitrogen from the digestion of these insects. So that is why they are catching the insects. So this is how they are adapted to the surroundings. So this is about today's portion. Hope you have understood. So we have discussed today about the different modes of taking in food by different organisms. We said that it varies from organism to organisms. Okay? And all the organisms will not prepare their own food. Okay? We depend upon plants and animals also for the food. So we have learned about the nutrition and how the nutrition takes place in plants, and we learned about autotrophs and heterotrophs, the classification of heterotrophs like total parasite, partial parasite and saprophytes. Then we learned about the insectivorous plants and how do they get the nitrogen. So this is about today's topic. Hope you all understood today's topic. So thank you.